This episode is brought to you by John Blake Sales Breakthrough Solutions, helping you to at least double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 167, and today we are going to be talking about the importance of thinking big. But before we do that, if you have got leads that you want to convert into paying clients, I've got a particularly valuable resource for you. It is over at johnblakeaudio.com. And what you'll get there is a 15-minute audio that walks you through the precise strategy that I use myself and that I have used time and time again over the last 18 years with clients to help them to convert more of the leads that you've spoken to that didn't buy straight away. So what you'll get is the precise strategy that I use, the exact word-for-word scripts to what to say when you ring on the phone, what to write in your emails, and when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. What you'll find is that if you put this into practice, you can get 30% more sales out of your existing lead flow. So it is at johnblakeaudio.com. Go and grab it. Put it into practice. The best thing about it is that you can actually teach it to someone else on your team and they can do it for you. It's over at johnblakeaudio.com. What you'll get is a 15-minute audio, but what you'll also get is a PDF that has the exact word-for-word scripts that you can cut and paste into your email autoresponder program so that you can follow up with people and you can do it in a way that is proactive, that is professional, that won't piss people off. So it's over at johnblakeaudio.com. Go grab it and let me know how you go. Okay, so we're going to talk about the importance of thinking big. Now, I'm going to take you back to the late 90s. It's going to make me sound like I'm 100. But I used to have an agency, and in the agency, I represented action sports brands. So I had the wholesale agency for a whole bunch of brands in West Australia. I used to sell Vans shoes, I used to sell Mambo, I used to sell Havaianas, and a whole bunch of different sunglass brands and other things within my agency over the 10 years that I had that business. And I'll never forget a conversation that I had. What was happening in the industry is that we went from having about 120 surf accounts that would sell surfwear or action sports apparel in Western Australia. And over the years, what happened is that there would be more businesses that were centrally owned. So they would have, say 60 stores, but their head office would be based on the East Coast. And what that meant for a West Australian agent is that you would either get reduced commission or you wouldn't get any commission on the sales that were made to those chains. So in the end, there was about 2 or 3 quite big chains that had quite a big footprint of stores in Western Australia that the local agent would either get reduced commission on or they wouldn't get any commission at all. And they were quite big stores. Like, there were some particularly massive stores. Like one particular chain had opened up 4 really, really big stores. So the average, size of a surf shop back then was maybe 150 square meters, maybe 200 square meters max. These retailers were opening up these mega stores. They were like 4, 5, 600 square meters with multiple stories. And I never forget, I was having dinner with one of the principals of one of the companies that I represented, and I was saying to him, it's not fair, I can't believe that all these national chains are coming over and it's eroding our business and it's making it harder for the local retailers because they've got bigger buying power, so they can buy things in bulk, get them at reduced prices, and then they discount on the local market. And so I was airing all these grievances to one of the principals from one of the companies that I owned, and this guy was working. It was a family business. He was one of the owners of the biggest apparel manufacturer in the Southern Hemisphere. So he was, he'd been around, big business for a long time, had a lot of experience in the apparel industry, in the fashion industry, and I'm pretty sure he was like, second or third generation of people that own this particular business. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said to me, well, the opportunity to open up a store that big existed for all of the different people that already had surf shops in Western Australia. So he was saying, all these local retailers are complaining because a store from the East Coast came over here and opened up a massive shop. But that opportunity existed for all of the local business owners as well. And I thought, wow, that is such a good point, right? And he even went on to say, and what do you think? It would be easier for a local business to open up a 600 square metre shop? Or do you think it would be easier for an East Coast type business to come to Western Australia and open up a store that big? And I had to agree with him. It's like, if you were a local business owner, it would be easier for you to open up a 600 square metre store than what it would be if you were someone who had a business that was based on the East Coast and you were moving over to West Australia to open up a store that big. And it was a massive eye-opener, because it was like, and it was one of those moments, one of those take responsibility for your situation type moments. I was like, okay, well, that's such a good point. All of these local businesses are lamenting the fact that there's East Coast chains have come over and opened up these big stores, but that opportunity existed for them. In fact, that was a bigger opportunity, an easier opportunity to execute for them. And then you might say, but they haven't got the money to be able to, open up a store that big. I said, well, they could do a capital raise, they could get a partner, for that store. So it was just a massive eye opener, and it's always something that stayed with me, because there are opportunities to expand, and this whole idea of abundance thinking as opposed to lack thinking is such a massive thing. So in Australia, we often, it's such a small part of the world. There's only 25 million people that live here. Well, there are opportunities all over the world, especially for good businesses. And if you can make a business work in Australia, you can actually make a business work, anywhere. And I mean, you can deal with the States. There's a big appetite for quality people and quality businesses in the States. But you have to be prepared to think like that. You have to be prepared to look at what that might look like for you. So, it's just a really good reminder in certain situations to think a bit bigger than what you might already be thinking. And in terms of taking responsibility for the situation that you're in, look at ways that you could potentially compete better by thinking bigger. I guess that's the main point. So my suggestion to you would be, have a think about some different ways that you could think about your business or your particular sales situation in a way that is bigger than what you are right now. What are the opportunities that you're not thinking about because perhaps you're not thinking big enough? So thanks as always for listening, and I will talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.